We stand the ramen man.
We always stand ramen guy.
Stand ramen.
I know, I'm waiting for him to show up.
Stand
Come on.
All right, I believe we are live. Hello, everyone.
Oh.
It's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome to another episode of Talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens Up, episode 2, technically. We had episode 0, which was the pre-show, and then, of course, last week, episode 1, which was an amazing start to this live stream series. If you are unfamiliar with this podcast, we go over every week the most recent episode of YuGiOh Sevens. Usually we get together for it in person. Obviously, due to the COVID-19 pandemic that's striking the world right now, that is not an option. So we are visited remotely from everyone. But Pete is joining. That's why there is a blank square. So when Pete hops in the call, it will naturally kind of just, he'll take over that square. He's updating his computer, technical issues on his end. Before we get into it, though, I do want to shout out everyone who got here early. MVP Tomahawk, Light Melody VA, Seriously Orion, Cool Alex, Danny Rodriguez, Michael Segal, Jarrett Brule, Pokegirl, Alex Vermi, Tara Arnold, Kerbu, Crystal Seeker, Francis 10th Emperor, Pink Penguin, Anthony, Lynn, Rescue Squad Culp, Goosey Q, Nicholas Horton, Ethan Turkey, Train Dude, Shooting Spirit, and Jack Gunn. Jack Rhodes, excuse me. Love all of you guys. You guys want to quickly introduce yourselves to everyone?
Yeah, I'm Kate. Hi.
I'm Cal. What's up?
I'm Nick T. What's going on?
The men, the two Nicks are here, and Kate, of course, the leading lady, shortly. Is here as well. And Pete will be joining us as well. And I want to hear from all of you guys. This is a podcast where I always go back and read everyone's comments, so I want to hear your thoughts. We are now 2 episodes into the show, and it's still very early to say this show is going to be horrible or this show is going to be amazing, but I want to know your overall feeling on it. Do you like it? Are you not going to continue it? What are your hopes and dreams, in life as well as for YuGiOh Sevens? So a lot happened, obviously, in this episode. I mean, right, Cal?
Yeah, I mean, a lot did happen in this episode, but I guess this is me starting off, right?
No, I was actually hoping you'd throw it back to me. I have an opening monologue for this one.
Oh, well,
Okay.
Dil, why don't you start us off then?
Oh, dude, thank you.
Oh wow.
All right.
Oh, that's not.
You did the nod. You did the Dylan. You were doing the nod, by the way.
I was doing the nod, the Lenny nod.
The clock you nod.
The clock you nod. Yeah. Listen, this. A lot of you might be wondering why this episode is titled 4 Years Coming. February 7th, 2016, I woke up. It was a very cold winter day. I woke up at Montclair. The first year I was at that college. I was applying to be an RA. I wasn't sure if I was going to get the position. And actually, if I did not get my RA position when I was at college, I probably would have tried to do the Disney College program. That was always my backup plan. I ended up getting the RA job, so I was an RA my last 2 years. But that date is important because February 7th, 2016 is the last time we as Yu-Gi-Oh fans witnessed the main protagonist lose a duel. I want everyone to think that far back. That is how long it has been since the main character of a Yu-Gi-Oh franchise has lost a duel. That to me is insane. Since that date, I have lost my Nana. God rest her soul. Love my Nana, she passed away. I have lost my dog Brandy. God rest her soul.
Brandy.
I lost Brandy since then, 2016 February. I went to the Dark Side of Dimensions movie premiere in New York City with my good friend Nick T. He's right there in the top left. Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything wasn't even a thing. This channel was not even a channel on February 7th, 2016. It wasn't even a channel, Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything. My career path completely changed from business marketing to now more in hospitality. My life has changed so much since the last time a Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonist has lost in a Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. We should not have to wait 4 years for that to happen, but it's very striking to me that it's already happened, and the writers are not afraid, like I feel like they were at times in Vrains, of giving the main protagonist an L. So with that, Cal, I'm going to toss it to you.
Can I just say something?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, what's up?
I do take issue with the part of this monologue in that you listed you and I going to the Dark Side Dimensions premiere along with you losing your Nana and Brandy. So is this some kind of life-altering negative event for you that
No, I'm just saying my life has changed dramatically. The people in
I'm
my
sure,
life
but
have
I'm just
changed.
saying you listed it next to two very negative life
Well,
events.
Listen, I wanted to
Like,
start
I
with
feel like so many positive things have
a
happened.
lot of
since
positive
then.
things have happened, but I wanted to start with the negatives, and then it got more positive. Dark Side of
It did, yeah.
Dimensions,
Okay,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
sure.
Everything
Thank you.
started. This channel, I met so many
Fair,
great
okay.
people through this channel, but it just puts into perspective
How much has changed?
Yeah, how much has changed, and that's crazy.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. All right, Cal, you can go ahead. I don't need to
So,
start that one. Dang, I just wanted to say that.
Wow.
Oh,
So-
Cal, before you begin, bro, I do want to thank everyone who super chatted last Talkin' Yu-Gi-Oh! You guys are amazing, and I do like to give shout outs every time that happens in the next stream. So huge thank you and shout out to Neos Gundam, Nicholas Horton, Alex Verme, Brian Ford, Yuto, Aura Dragon 1, Underdog Chris, Seriously Orion, Cami Mingo, Lightning Liz, Sean Gilbride, Arkea, Tyler Schmidt, Macalaxy, Chris Swan, Rin Sasori, Spike Bebop, Bam, Davis Enos, Osbarb, Antoine Coleman, and J. Graham the Gamer. And a huge thank you to Anonymous Anime Lover and Goosey Q, who both donated very, very large amounts. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone. And thank you to new patron Pegasus Saya, who became a diamond tier patron over the weekend. So
Awesome.
I'm looking forward
Awesome.
to. I think Pegasus also became a channel member during that stream. So thank you so much, dude. I really do
Awesome.
appreciate it, guys. But Cal, give your thoughts. What did you think about this episode? This is the first time where you were watching live that the main character actually loses.
Yeah, so I'm glad you repeated the question because after all the dark things you said, I started to forget what you were asking.
Yeah, right?
It was in memoriam.
But overall, I mean, I think I might have even said it last stream. I was kind of hoping he would lose early because it was one of those things where we went through Vrains and I just got implanted in my head that the protagonist doesn't lose. Because we went the entire show without
4
the protagonist
years,
losing.
bro. Yeah.
And literally we sat there going, for him a draw's a loss. You know, like that's the way we looked at it.
Right.
And now it's like, okay, episode 2 happens and he loses. So it's like they're not afraid to just say, hey, like you might think, we should build him up, but it's like at the same time, he might have developed the rules, but how many times has he actually rushed duel 2? Once?
Right.
Twice?
Yeah.
This is
This would
his
be
second
twice.
actual rush
Against
duel,
an
and-
actual opponent twice.
Yeah, so it's like he may have these different rules and standards for what like that style of dueling is, but at the end of the day, nobody's done rush duels yet.
Right.
So it kind of lets you know like, hey, he's still learning too. He may know the rules, but he's still never actually physically done the duel against another person. So I
Right.
think
Yeah.
that it brings out that kind of humanistic aspect of it, where it's like it's much more realistic than like the normal protag always wins, pulling a card out of thin air. Like when he didn't get the extra attribute, he pulled a spell, I think,
Amazing.
and he didn't get the win because of that. It's like, okay, they're not giving him that plot armor that when Playmaker would pull something out of thin air and win,
Yeah.
and he didn't get that, and I like that a lot. So overall, I mean, I didn't pick him to win, but this actually, I liked this outcome better.
Well, I will say none of us picked him to win. We literally all went 0-5. And make sure, by the way, you guys join that game down below. After 100 entries, 8 people are perfect after 2 duels. 8 people have predicted the
is
first 2
insane.
duels right. I mean, it's been a very unpredictable show. Nick T, your thoughts on seeing the main protagonist lose? I gotta find you here. There you go. And just what are your thoughts on the episode in general?
So I'll address the first question first. Seeing him lose. So I didn't so much mind. I like that, like Calabro, I like that he lost so early on because this might be one of the few times we see a protagonist lose, because as the stakes go up, the chances of them losing shrink. However, I don't know if I'm happy with him losing this specific duel, because actually I'm not going to get into why. I'll get into why later when we address some other things. But I'm not exactly happy that he lost this particular duel.
Really? That's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know why.
But moving on to the episode as a whole, I did enjoy it, but I enjoyed more the beginning and end rather than the middle. I felt like the middle was a little, like, it wasn't bad, but it was a little bit of a lot of rehash. because
It was tutorial-like still.
Yeah.
it is tutorial-like still.
Exactly
but
how I
it's-
felt,
It's
yeah.
rehashing the same rules. Like, I get that people now, like, it's the first time these new kids are seeing this game, but they explained the same rules they explained in the episode before, instead of just having them go, oh, wow, that's cool. Like, we didn't have to waste a solid 3 minutes re-explaining the same rules that we got explained in episode 1. So I didn't love that. But you got a lot of, like, really good developmental, things. You see, like, sort of the edginess that Rook can, put on, but as well as, like, this solid best friend thing he's got going on.
Yeah.
So I like that. And I guess that's as general impressions. That's really I liked the beginning and end a lot because I think it left us off in a good way. It started off in like exactly where it should have. I think the middle we got lost a little bit, but the duel itself was good. I'm just not huge on the outcome.
Now, Nick T, I want to touch on the tutorial aspect, like how you mentioned they kind of explained the same rules again. I think the good part about that is we're not going to see that again because the duel was broadcast, right?
Right, so now
So
everyone's
technically
seen it. That's true.
everyone
Yes,
has seen
everyone
it
should
now
know.
because they live streamed the duel.
Right, so we probably won't get the rules
So
re-explained
now
again.
it's like, why would he ever have to explain it again? You can go watch it,
Yeah, oh, definitely.
So
yeah,
I think that reiteration of it, and then them saying at the end, like, oh, that was streamed or whatever, I feel like that kind of says, all right, like, we're getting down to business now. Like, it's not a tutorial, it's not a walkthrough. Like, now we're going into everything else. So I think that's like, it kind of almost says, yeah, we might have explained it again, but now you can tell we're done.
Sure. No, that definitely makes sense. I didn't look at it that way, but I like that. In general, I think we could have used that 2 to 3 minutes of probably something a little bit more meaningful, but that's a good way to, like, from a plot perspective, that's a good way to look at it. It's still, So now
it could
everyone
have
else
had
can
another
see.
couple turns and couple other hands in the duel or something, but
yeah,
know.
no, it was good. I mean, I like what we saw out of both Rook and I think Yuga got a decent amount of development just out of that simple loss, is because it shows that, like, he's okay with losing.
Yeah.
It doesn't crush his pride or his spirit. Like, he's very okay with losing, as long as it helps everyone have fun with this game that he created.
Yeah. And it's not. It's really refreshing to watch, like, low stakes, not like, because, like, even the first duel, it was like his account was on the line, right? If he lost, like, his account was dead, he was banned, right? So there was still, like, kind of a high stake there. This duel, like, there was no stake.
The only
really
stake
at
was
all.
keeping it a secret, and he cheated.
Which
out
wasn't
of
gonna
that.
happen
There was
anyway.
a stake, but the stake was not big enough to the point where, like, you knew the
had
outcome.
to win.
Yeah, where a character had to win.
And even with the outcome that would have said nobody knows about it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, didn't matter.
So it literally was like a low stake to no stake duel, and I think that, like, it's refreshing. I get it's like the beginning of the show, but it's still refreshing to not be like, wow, like, that character could be done.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And
you do get, like, this lose-win dynamic for both of them. One won the duel but lost the gamble, and the other lost the duel but won the gamble.
It's almost like Yuga won the war, but Rook won the battle.
I would say the other way around.
It is the other way around, but the wording is right. It's just the structure of the sentence is incorrect.
Yeah.
Rook won the battle, Yuga won the war.
Because he got it streamed. Yeah.
Calber said the right thing. He just said it in reverse order.
I just said it backwards.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But that's okay. No, I completely, by the way, agree with you both on the tutorial aspect. I was willing to really kind of overlook it because it's still only the second episode of a show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of a show that could be 100 episodes. But I even said in my review, at the same time, that was a knock that I had on the episode, that it still felt very tutorial. We're still trying to teach the audience how to play this game. But again, based on the target demographic that they're trying to bring in from new fans, I understand the reason for it.
Yeah, I definitely understand it. While I didn't love it, of course I'm going to give it a pass. It's only episode 2. It doesn't ruin.
If they were doing this in, like, episode 7 or 8, then I'm like, all right, this is
what's going on.
Now it kind of on purpose feels like dumbed down, which is not great.
Exactly. That would be bad. But, like, of course I would give it a pass. It's not.
Well, we still got a lot to go over on this episode. Kate's gonna give her opinions on the duel. Obviously, this is the first Yu-Gi-Oh show you've watched.
Yes.
So I want to know your opinions.
Really duel, but I watched a very small amount of Reigns, and I saw a couple of duels in that, but that was very fast and.
Well, it was speed duels, similar to rush duels, but different. It was like Rush Duels on hoverboards.
Yeah, it was very overwhelming.
You're going to give your thoughts next. We're also going to go over Rook's backstory and just how the episode was kind of... Well, we already kind of went over how the episode was in general. But Rook's backstory, Nick T is going to go over why he felt this was not the right time for Yuga to lose. I'm very interested to hear Nick T's perspective.
I'm not going to go into it until later, until we address something else. Actually, it might not be till the end of the episode.
Oh, okay. Oh, I have a feeling why. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to also go over Mr. Goha. Goha Corporation makes their big appearance. Mr. Goha comes in. I honestly have no idea what to make of him after that scene. I don't know if he's going to be like a Saturday morning comedy villain. I don't know if he's going to be like a really unhinged villain. I have no idea if he's going to be a joke, like if he's not even going to be evil. I have no idea. That scene did not tell me anything, but it was actually really funny.
Laughing. Oh my god.
We're gonna go over that. We're also gonna make our prediction on Yuga versus Romin, and hopefully, still no sign from Pete. Pete literally had his webcam. He was in the call with us a few minutes.
A couple of minutes before.
So I'm not. I guess his computer's still updating, but we'll pray to God that Pete will be able to join us and give his insight as well.
Yeah. What
were your thoughts on this episode and so far Sevens as a whole?
Sevens as a whole, it's okay.
Okay.
I'm not like, oh my god, this is the greatest show ever, but it's only 2 episodes, so there's not really much to go on, and I'm not really fully basing my opinion off of that. That being said, I thought it was good. I am kind of going on both sides of liking the tutorial of it and not at the same time, because I don't know much about Yu-Gi-Oh, so it was good to go over it again from my perspective. But I get a lot of people that have watched this show for years are like, yeah. I think that's my only thoughts. Oh, there was one other thing I was going to say, but I can't remember. So
okay, well that's fine. If you remember, let us know. But so far, you're not sold on it, but it's okay for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know Pete was in a very similar boat, but obviously I don't know how he felt about episode 2. We might never know, but
She highlights a really good point, being that like the thing that we sort of had an issue with sort of works for her, because she's even though she's not a kid, she falls in the target demographic of someone being new to Yu-Gi-Oh. So like she's getting the rules explained to her, and that's why it works.
Yeah, and I feel like it's good on both ends, because it's not, as Cal said, like we are probably guaranteed that there's no more tutorial after this. So it's good
unless it's something brand new.
Yes, exactly.
Well, extra deck when that gets introduced, which we have never seen an extra deck card released yet. But some other cool news to look forward to is the next set for Rush Duels. Matt told me that the cover cards for Rush Duels are going to be Dark Magician. So there's a very good chance that Dark Magician will come to Rush Duels, which obviously that's a very staple card.
Hopefully he replaces
Sevens Road Magician.
Yeah, come on, dude. Why is it that the rest of Yuga's cards are so much cooler? Dude, Mystic Dealer is sick.
We haven't even seen the Dark Magician girl version of Yuga's deck, which is really amazing. It hasn't been animated yet, at least to my knowledge. I think it's Sevens Road Witch. We haven't seen that card yet, right? Does that sound familiar to any of you?
We definitely haven't.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet. But when that happens, that'll be really cool. Well, that's the other thing. If you don't like Rush Duels, it's going to be hard to really get into the show. And I guess that's also a very important factor to keep in mind, which is why I'm really hoping that we still have Master Duels in this show. Yeah. But early on, it's going to be Rush Duels. We didn't have our first Vrains Master Duel until like episode 8 or 9, and then episode 18 with Akira. So, and then by the end of Vrains, it was all Master Duels. But we'll see what happens there.
I enjoy the Rush Duels, honestly.
I don't mind the Rush Duels personally. That's probably why. But for people that don't enjoy it, it's going to be a hard show to get into for that reason.
I think the thing is, I don't have a huge tie to the game itself. Like I'm pretty indifferent about it. So like the fact that this is a fast-paced game that keeps me engaged makes me like it. Yeah, I have no loyalty to anything prior.
Yeah, that was the struggle that I had. Sorry, Cal.
No, go ahead.
That was the struggle I had with getting into Vrains, was that the duels were so long and there was so much going on that I couldn't.
Link spam is very hard to introduce yourself
I found myself like looking away and looking at my phone and then being like, oh, it's in Japanese. I can't understand this. I need to pay attention. But it was hard to focus on it. So this is
Link spam is very hard to just go into Yu-Gi-Oh with. Yeah.
Link Shoken.
Yeah. 5 times in a row. Yeah, no, that even still throws me off how some of that worked.
What?
Yeah. So that's
especially the first 15 episodes of Reigns when they did the animation every single time.
They were just buying time, dude. That studio was treading water.
Dude,
for so
oh
long.
my
Do you remember,
God.
like, he would do it like three links in a row, and it would beat the whole freaking.
3 links in a row would take 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's why I think
my
I didn't
God.
get past like episode 11 or 12.
It's kinda
Yeah, it would
boring.
be hard
Yeah.
for you because
Yeah, it was
it's
boring.
Dude, it's so long.
But
I'm glad
I
they
also,
cut it short.
Yeah, no, I agree in it.
I thought you meant
To
I'm
an
glad they
extent.
cut the show short. That's
No.
I'm glad they cut it
Animation,
short.
dude.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's one of those things where it's really cool to see once or like the first time in a duel, but then after that, like you don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And the other thing about going back to rush duels that I really like, I think I said this last week, is like it's unpredictable. You know, like
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
we watch this and like we said after last week's episode, it was like, yeah, it's unpredictable, but at the same time, it gives the main protagonist a cop out because he draws 4 cards, so he's gonna get what he wants.
But it's
But
proved
then
that's not necessarily the
we
truth.
literally watched the opposite of that happen.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And
they're
it's
wrong.
like
Dude.
literally, it's like, so in 2 episodes, he pulls the right card and he pulls the wrong one, and it's so much more realistic to be like, I need, one of 2 abilities that are left,
And he just doesn't
and
get
you
it.
don't actually get it.
That's
You know what I
love.
mean?
Yeah.
And
Huh?
it's like, because it's like honestly, it's like the Brave Max duel where they both just brick their hands.
Dude.
Yeah.
Like it's something that never happens in the show, but in real life happens all the time. So it's like
Yeah.
you see him be like, shit, it's not a light or a fire, or whatever the
Right.
thing. 'Cause it was a spell card anyway. It wasn't even a monster, so
Yeah.
he lost.
Mhm.
And I think that's just like, it adds that realism again that like, he's not gonna just pull something out of thin air.
Right.
Which I really I enjoy that. Like I'd rather see him lose a close battle than just kind of like be down 4,000 to 100 and and win out of nowhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Completely agree.
especially early on.
Yeah. Well, Cal, I want to keep it with you, and then we'll do some donations if we have any. We will get to all of them. And thank you guys. I want to keep it with you. You said that Rook right before we went live. You really are starting to like love him. Like he's close to being one of your favorite characters in the early going. What did you think
did
about
say that.
What did you think about his backstory? Who said that? Did you say that, Nick T?
No, Cal did say that.
Yeah, Cal
I don't
did
know
say
why.
that.
I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
I did.
Oh, well, he's laughing.
No, I'm laughing because it's kind of the way you're already making it seem like I idolize him, like you did Soul Burner.
Not
Well,
untrue.
okay, you did idolize Soul Burner. I mean, come on.
But no, I really like his character, and in terms of his background, do you kind of mean the whole demon thing, like with his weird powers and what was it, like the Pauly effect or something?
Some
The
effect.
Pauly effect, yeah.
Right? That's what it was? I
Yeah.
thought that was weird, but like nobody pays attention to it, and that to me is so intriguing. Like
Yeah.
he tries to bring this up and like say like, hey, I have this demon inside me. I have this power. Like I can like mess up people's electronics. Cause like he turned off all the people's phones and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is like a really weird thing. Why is everybody just kind of like,
Kinda like, oh,
disregarding it?
Yeah.
Why did this
Like,
happen? That's cool.
something else happens and everyone just forgets that Rook's talking. And I just think it's funny, but like it's almost one of those things where you feel like that could get to him as a person. Like people can just keep
Yeah.
ignoring it, and he could just explode on like a heel turn type level where he just becomes like against the crowd instead of for it, and I think it'd be a really cool kind of twist that obviously wouldn't happen for a while,
Right.
Mhm.
But it could happen in general.
but it could happen. And I think that's like a really unique part about him, because it's like he's the rival, it seems, for now, but he's also the best friend. Like you kind of can see that connection coming together.
Yeah.
So I think he's just a very interesting character in general. So I really like that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Nick T,
I
what are your
definitely
thoughts about everything with Rook?
It's really interesting because we get like it's sort of like half serious, half not. Like he talks about this demon, and then like he's
Mhm.
talking about dueling adults in like some
Yeah.
club with a fake mustache.
Yeah.
It's hysterical. It's so funny.
Well, I love
But,
too,
like-
as that's going on, the background music is literally so like unnerving. Like it's like the background music makes that way creepier than it should be.
Yeah.
I know, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And like what I think is really interesting though is like based on like his story and then them trying to explain it and like no one really paying attention to each other, and we get this comic relief bit. but like we actually don't know what the truth is because of that.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what to believe yet.
I don't know
And
what to
that's
believe
what I
either.
like. And that's what I like.
Yeah.
It's like we have no idea. Like, is he lying? Is he like some storytelling kid who really has like nothing? Like everything he's saying is a lie. You know, we've all had those kids like, oh, I have the new, Xbox 6, and you're like,
Yeah.
we know that's not true.
Yeah.
So he could be like one, but like we don't know what the truth is, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of try to point it to like the watch on his arm.
They're
That's-
directing us towards that.
They kept kind of like zooming in on him, like he has his watch up
I
like
noticed
this,
that
and it's like
too.
zoomed in on it. So I'm interested to see what that is, because it almost looks like a demon's face on the watch too. So I'm kind of I don't know if you noticed
That's his
that, but like,
demon.
yeah, that's his demon, but it's really
Hmm.
something that just messes with electronics. Like it's just something that
Like a
like
gadget.
the magnetic frequency or whatever, just kind of
Yeah.
like it messes it up. But like that's what I noticed when I saw it. But at the same time, it could be something completely, because like he glows. He has this like purple aura
Right.
around
I mean,
him
that
when
could still be
he's
part
standing
of
there.
like his. Yeah. I mean, I think we should hold on to that watch thing. I think that's important.
That's his AI secretly.
Don't say that. That's That's where I went to.
that's I.
Oh my god. Let that theory commence. Yeah, that's a good theory early on. And I mean that's the theory that we all kind of are going to probably move to and levitate to, because the theory of Romin being a spy for Goha, that very well could come to a head in the next episode. We know
Yeah.
based on the
Right.
preview that Yuga and Romin are dueling together. So that's going to be very interesting. We're going to do some donations, and then we are going to get into Mr. Goha and our thoughts
Nice.
on Goha and that whole, yeah, and that ending scene. Pete just texted me that his computer update is at 0%. Still, and
Oh
that
my god.
he's going to try to maybe join via phone for a little bit, but right now
Even if we just get audio, right? Like,
yeah.
See what everybody
But
has
right
to
now
say.
it's not looking good.
That is sad.
So I know I
Maybe
really,
he should plug his Ethernet back into his computer.
I really do want to
I think the
hear.
update it's too far now.
Yeah, well, hopefully he just calls in on his phone. But anyway,
Yeah.
let's do a few donations. Thank you guys so much. And I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about the episode as always. We'll do a few, and then we'll get into Mr. Goha, Yuga versus Romin predictions down below. Make sure you join the game. You can win a PS5, an Xbox One X, a Nintendo Switcheroony, whatever it's going to be, down below.
Switcheroo.
All you have to do is predict as many correct duels, the most correct duels, and you win. I mean, it's simple. It's the easiest way to win a console.
I'm kind of pissed I'm 0-2.
I'm 0-2
Yeah,
too,
right.
but by the way, you're ineligible, so it doesn't matter.
Oh,
Oh, man.
damn.
I really wanted that PS phone.
Don't worry, the runner-up prize is an invite to our exclusive Minecraft server.
Wait, dude, no, that's amazing.
That's
Dude,
actually
no,
a really
that is
good
not
idea.
amazing. Imagine if you come in second and you're one place off of winning a new console, and the prize is to get into a free Minecraft server.
Called
But
BDC.
But with us.
Dude, that's a great runner-up prize.
It's fantastic. I think it would be great.
I'm alright. I'm shooting for the second place prize then.
You're already in the server.
He gets kicked out if he doesn't get second.
Yeah, that's the new
Whoa,
rule.
whoa,
That's the new
whoa!
rule.
There we
I already
go.
have to wear my varsity jacket
we,
out.
we,
Please
we
leave me
do have a
alone.
we do have a Minecraft server.
Alright, sorry, a couple came in, so I was just copying these real quick.
All right.
Alright, so to start it off today, we have Seriously Orion donated £5.
I think that's the first. Seriously, Orion, thank you. I think that's the first time
Matthew
Neo's
Kennedy?
Gundam
Yeah.
Matthew Kennedy has not gotten the first. Oh, Pete's in, so everything's gonna look weird.
Okay, hold
Yeah,
on. let me
leave.
Jump out.
Leave. Perfect.
You're welcome.
Okay. Hold on. We might seriously Orion. Okay. Wait, Pete. It looks good.
Speed Ficaro!
I'm alive.
Oh, he made
Hey!
it. Pete Ficaro.
I'm back.
Look at him.
It's Pete Ficaro.
Amazing.
It's Vaccaro.
Hey, that's a stunning appearance. Okay, we will get right back to those donations. I
Yes.
promise.
Mhm.
Pete.
Do what you gotta do.
Pete. No. We're starting with you, bro. We're throwing you right
Yeah,
into the
right
fire,
in. Come
dude.
on, let's go.
Well,
All right. What
so-
are you asking me?
Just to recap, episode 1, you were in the middle on. You were like, it's early. It was okay. It wasn't anything special, which I agree with you on for the most part. I think I enjoyed it a little more than you. That's completely fair, though. Episode 2, the duel, we all kind of talked about how it still felt a little tutorial-like, but how it's kind of understandable, still being the second episode. But the big shock, of course, is that Rook defeats Yuga. Our main protagonist loses. How are you feeling about the second episode, the vibe of the show so far, and the result of this duel?
I will say that I liked it significantly better than the first episode.
Okay.
Oh,
It felt more engaging, and I liked kind of the music that was going on in the episode and just the mystery around Rook. And I heard Nick T say, like, who knows what he actually is saying is true or not true. I like all of that stuff. And it makes him right now my favorite character over anyone else going on.
Okay.
However, the show it hasn't grabbed me yet. I mean, that's going to take a while, which I expected. And some of the humor is a little hit and miss for me, but it was a little better. It was a little better this week in the terms of, like, when they were talking about the Pauly effect and all those other things. I was like, okay, like, I'm digging the vibe of the show. I'm digging some of the things where, Rook at the end is just like, oh, hey, did you let me win Yuga? And then, Romin and Gakuto are just like, he definitely didn't let him win. but they're convinced, and Rook is convinced that Yuga let him win. And Yuga is not denying that. He's just like, yeah, I totally, like, let you win. Like, he's not outright saying, like, no, man, like, I gave it all my effort. So, like, that humor was better for the episode. Rook winning, totally shocking. I always was going to side with the protagonist until you could prove to me that the protagonist loses.
Sure.
As we just went through an entire show where the protagonist lost 0 times.
Yeah.
And then, like, I think Dylan was saying, the last time a protagonist has lost is like 50 episodes before Arc 5 ended. So, I mean, we're talking, it's been
February
a long
2016.
Long time.
February 2016.
It's a long time. So 4 years.
Yeah.
So you had to prove to me that the protagonist could lose, and now you did that. And so now I feel there's more creativity with the show, that anything can happen. We have no idea who's going to win, especially with the unpredictability of Rush Duels. And it felt, Rush Duels themselves felt a little better in this episode than it did in the first episode. It was definitely tutorial-like, and we get that really from Gakuto's perspective. He's the one explaining it really on the sidelines, but it felt a little more Yu-Gi-Oh-like. It felt better as we're progressing with how to kind of implement this entire new dueling style into the world. That's going to take a while.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Well, so I'm happy you enjoyed it more than the first episode.
Do I look okay? Like,
You look great.
I'm good?
You look good, bro.
You look great,
phenomenal.
Pete. You're looking good.
Pete, you look good. You look good.
Oh, thanks, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, you always look beautiful, Pete.
Compliments there.
Yeah. Well, Pete, don't worry. We still have not talked about Goha and Mr. Goha, obviously, at the end. Which the only thing I've said, the only thing that I've said about him is I have no idea what to make of him. And obviously, we are going to have a nice, fun discussion, the four of us, with everyone in the chat about Mr. Goha and who we think, the 5 of us. I see 4 screens, I think.
Wow.
The 5 of us.
It's fine.
And
I'm just
That was
taking
messed
photos,
up
that's
right
all.
the 5 of us and what we think that he's going to be like, and obviously the people, the great people in the chat as well.
I feel like we get a very in-depth character perspective in this episode for him. He had a lot of dialogue, and I really think we're going to be able to dive into his character.
Yeah, I'm excited to do that. Also, Yuga versus Romin predictions. That'll be interesting. That is the first time, I think, ever so far in Pick'em that we have all picked incorrectly. All 5 of us picked Yuga. We were all wrong. Pete and Kate lead our standings 1-1 is their record. Me, Cal, and Nick T are 0-2. We have not gotten anything right. Cal's famous quote, we can always count on Nick T to get about 3 or 4 wrong every month. And that looks like it might prove true for the month of April. But
if I'm tied with you guys, you can't even say that.
No, I'm not saying it. Cal said it.
Every month is bad, because I said
You
we
didn't
can
say
count on Nick T to miss a few.
That's
what I
exactly.
said.
I have the
Yeah,
proof.
not
I
every
clipped
month.
it. So.
He's gonna miss a few. That means he's only gonna
If he
get like
misses
1
4
right.
a month, that means he misses every
He's
single
gonna lose
Every
all
one.
the time.
Oh, shit.
Thank you, Cal. Thank you, Cal.
And I think Nick T in the brains pick'em. Nick T, by the way, he was only like 1 or 2 points behind us, so like he didn't.
Yes.
Yeah, me and Nick T tied, and we were like 2 points behind the first place standing.
Right?
Right now,
And for a
though.
while at the beginning, we were doing well.
Boy, oh boy. So we will pick Yuga versus Romin, as I'm sure most of you will. But definitely check the full standings, and if you haven't joined, it's never too late. In the description of this video, send the pick to the email. That is the only way that it will be official. Seriously, Orion donated, and then Pete joined.
Oh right. Okay. Sorry.
Sorry.
What?
No, Pete, you're good, bro.
Yes. Seriously, Orion donated £5.
Thank you so much, dude.
said,
Thank you.
Yo, 2 relevant questions.
Okay.
What's with the penguin on your whiteboard? And why is Cal a
That was
disappointment
me.
to his parents?
Why is yes? So for anyone that is
did you spin around the board at some point? That I missed?
for anyone that is a channel member or a patron, which seriously
It's on his
Orion
update
is,
board.
I post my upload schedule. That's one of the perks for being a channel member or a patron every week. And I keep Cal's penguin drawing. And I also keep Cal wrote in the top right of that whiteboard, which is my schedule for the podcast on YouTube.
Videos, yeah.
Number 1 disappointment, Cal to his parents.
Yep.
It's the truth.
Nice.
It is
Yeah,
the
so
truth.
So I could
So
take
that's
that
why,
question.
seriously, all right. I just
Yeah.
didn't delete it. Yeah, Cal, you take it,
Yeah,
bro.
take it
Yeah.
away, Cal.
So I drew the penguin because it's the one thing that I think I can draw well enough that you can know what it is.
You drew it
What?
well, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a
and
good
then
draw.
I'm just a disappointment to my parents. There's really no bouncing around that.
See, that's not entirely true. It's
No, it's
more
not.
that you're a success in life. It's just that all your other siblings completely outdo you.
Well,
And so
that's why
it makes you seem like you're not successful, but in reality, you really are. It's just
Well-
they're just better than you.
Well, Pete, what I'm saying
compared
is,
to me, you're more
to
successful
his
than
parents.
I am.
to life, I might be successful, but to them, I'm a
Not to them.
disappointment.
That's harsh but true. Seriously, Orion, thank you for the donation.
You live with it. You live and you learn.
Yeah.
Nothing to be ashamed of, bro.
Nope.
Cal, you're the guy that got the 94 on the test, and then your sister got 100, and so that one got hung up on the fridge and not yours.
100%.
You're absolutely right.
And then when he did get 100, she got extra credit, so she got a 106. So that's
Ooh.
hung up on the board.
Huge.
Yeah.
Or like when my sister cheated off my homework and the teacher talked to me after class about cheating off my sister's homework. Yeah, that happened too.
That's rough, dude. That's profiling. That is really messed up.
Oh my god.
Nick T.
Profile?
That's the wrong word.
They went for the lanky tall kid. They profiled him. They're like, it's him.
That is not the right word. And next donation.
Maybe I should have stayed off the stream for the night.
I have a speech impediment.
That's not true.
That is true.
Thank
I
you.
when
That
when I mispronounce words and I say words incorrectly, I have a speech impediment.
That's not. That's.
It's not the
Still not
same.
right.
It's an
thing.
undiagnosed speech impediment.
Moving on.
We're
Yeah,
just
that's-
Okay,
gonna
just
move
go
on.
to the next
Okay.
donation.
Next dono
doesn't.
is from Daddy.
Daddy. Oh.
Donated
Ooh.
$2.
Okay, what
So
daddy?
Daddy.
Thank you, Dad.
Said, going out for cigarettes, leaving my belt.
Going out for cigarettes, leaving my belt.
What's happening?
What's going on?
So do me a favor and say something daddy related. Say that right now.
Thank you, Daddy, for the donation. That's-
Oh my god. Wait,
So
going out for
uncomfortable.
cigarettes, leaving my belt.
Yeah,
That is, who did that? Who is that?
the world may never know.
Oh,
That's
Oh
too
my
good.
God.
That's good.
I'm actually crying. It's
Yeah.
fine. Tyler Schmidt donated $5.
Thank you, Tyler.
Oh.
Said, I thought episode 2 was pretty good. Kind of glad Yuga lost. Can't wait to see Romin duel in episode 3, but I think she's going to lose in a good duel.
Yeah, I hope it's a good duel. Obviously, our picks are to come, but I don't necessarily disagree with any of what you just said, Tyler. Glad you enjoyed the episode, and thank you for the donation, my friend. Helps me out a
Yeah.
lot. Thank you, man.
Sean Gilbride donated $5.
Thank you, Sean.
Said, I'm interested in how they handle director Goha's backstory and if he perhaps related to any of the main cast.
Yeah, I think that's the big question. Another interesting thing with Goha, which we're going to get into, Sean, is who was the girl that called him on his direct phone line? Like, I felt like that was very strange that someone had that, like a young girl, maybe his daughter, had a direct line to his office. Like, that's
Yeah.
not normal. There's no way a regular citizen is calling, the Goha
Mr. Goha.
Corporation and it
Goha,
gets
yeah.
to, so there's
Yeah.
significance there that kind of gets lost in the overall him being in the scene. So we're going to talk about all that. But Sean, thank you for the donation, man.
Nicholas Horton donated £5.
Thank you, Nikki. I meant to say Nikki, and then I thought that might be weird, so I just...
It was a speech impediment.
Thank you, Nicholas.
He said Mr. Goha could turn out to be a comedic villain, especially with that laugh when he answered that old dial phone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think he, again, it's hard to say whether he's going to be comedic or not. Obviously, we're going to find out hopefully soon. I don't think he's going to be in the next episode, to be honest. Actually, we have the cast list. I don't think he is in the next episode. But we're going to see more of him. He's going to be an important character. The fact that when a show ends an episode with a scene or with a character, I think that's significant. I think they're trying to show significance towards a character by doing that.
Yeah.
So I think that, I think he's going to be important. It's hard for me to say whether, again, we're going to talk about Goha. But thank you for the donation, man. I do appreciate it.
So even though he just went ha ha ha, he was on the cast list.
Yeah. Anyone who... anyone who...
I was being genuine.
Goha Executive was on the cast list,
you're right.
too.
That's why it's funny.
Yeah,
like...
anyone who speaks is on the cast list,
okay.
Yeah.
I wonder how much he made for just doing that episode.
What?
How much money he made. The voice actor.
Probably... he's the voice actor who plays that guy is the most famous YouTuber in Japan.
Oh, that's
Wait, really?
him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hajime, I can't remember his name, but he's the most, he's like one of the most famous YouTubers in Japan.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is he the one that was on after the episode?
Yes.
I love that guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love that
fun.
guy.
He's the voice of Mr. Goha.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's so different. Like that's as if we were doing a show here in the States and we just had like someone from Smosh was just like voicing them for no reason.
Yeah.
And then having a clip at the end.
Yeah.
And then having
It's
a clip
like-
at the end.
Yeah.
It's like if PewDiePie voiced somebody
That's
on a
exactly what I was thinking. That it was gonna be.
Yeah, and you'd be like, huh, that's
This is
Although he-
weird.
He did do an episode of South Park, fun fact.
PewDiePie did.
I'm not at all surprised.
Yeah.
good old South Park.
Okay, next dono.
Yes.
Latrell donated $5.
Dude, thank you so much.
Latrell.
Latrell. And said the power of the protag failed.
Yes, thankfully.
Thankfully.
Protag power failed. That means that protag power in this show, unlike Vrain's and unlike another show in Yu-Gi-Oh, is not utmost invincible. So that's good.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
He is
to see the
mortal.
results.
I would love to Shadow Realm. He said that Pete should voice Mr. Goha and dub it. I would love to do that.
That's why I laughed. I
You
read
would
that
actually
comment.
I think
It's
you would do a
really
really
good.
great job.
No,
honestly.
4K Media already announced that not Uncle Wayne is voicing Mr. Goha. Yo.
Oh my god.
That would be
So, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That would be even
It's Uncle Wayne.
But he has to do it in that voice.
Yes.
And only that voice.
He'd be like, yo, these kids are changing up my dueling.
It's crazy, dude.
Jesus Christ. We'll take 2 or 3 more, and then we'll get
And Aunt
into
Patricia
Goha.
calls on the phone.
Oh my god.
Hello.
Yeah, that's who called. It was Aunt
Hello.
Patricia.
It seems there's a new style of rush duels is out there, Uncle Wayne.
They're really fun.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I know Aunt Patricia. Okay, Matthew Kennedy, Neo's Gundam donated $5. Said, everyone, watch Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans for best Gundam ever. Gundam Barbados in love, best girl, Atra.
I thought we were going to get through a stream without that. I
Nope.
would have been very disappointed.
Dude.
But
God we
Matthew,
didn't.
yeah, thank you for the donation, dude. You're the best. Iron-Blooded Orphans. Make sure you watch it.
Yep.
We'll do 2 more, then we'll get into Goha discussion.
Sounds good. Goose is here.
Goose!
Donated $3. Said, this is a big deal. New studio, staff, and friends.
Absolutely, man. New
Yeah.
studio. It's not about the journey. It's about the friends you make along the way.
Yeah.
And there will be, will be a
Wow.
lot of new people that do join these streams. As a lot of old people will probably stop joining them. But did I say that wrong?
No,
No.
the reason I said wait is because as you said that, just like 30 seconds before, Jake Goes Online commented maybe the real Goha was the friends we made along the way.
Oh, I'm not even
I
paying
didn't
attention.
notice that
Yeah,
either.
I can't see the comments right now.
So that's really funny that you said that.
That is really
That is
funny.
funny.
Mhm.
Yeah. That is funny. Well, Goose, thank you for the donation, man. You're the best. And yeah, for episode 1 too, the amount that thank you, man. It really does mean a lot.
Still, just come clean, bro. None of the words this whole time have been your own, and instead you have a mic of Jake Goes Online in your ear, and he just tells you what to say.
He
That'd
keeps-
be incredible.
He keeps telling, and whenever it breaks up, that's why some of my words don't make sense.
No, Dylan would be a lot funnier if that was the case.
That's true.
Wow, that was harsh.
Yeah, what the hell?
I mean, he's
We've
a
seen him play
comedian.
those Jackbox games. He's
Yeah.
he's a witty man.
Yeah, he
He
is.
is a witty man.
All right, last one for now.
Last one is Brian Ford, donated $5.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you,
Brian.
man.
Yes.
Right.
Brian.
Said Yuga losing was cool, but I didn't want it to happen yet, and to Rook. I personally would have had him lose to Romin or a Goha official later in the show.
Yeah, Brian, thank you for the donation. Nick T, I guess you can quickly kind of touch on what Brian, that's the last one we're reading for now. We are going to read every single donation as we always do. We have a few more, I'm assuming. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for donating. Literally breathes direct life into this channel, and it does mean the world. Nick T, kind of to transition what Brian said.
Should I give my prediction now then?
Don't give your prediction now, but just...
Well, it's necessary for that statement.
Okay.
Well, I guess what I prefer. All right, maybe not necessarily. I would prefer if Yuga beat Rook and lost to Romin,
Yeah.
because I think
Yeah.
that if Romin loses now, that's going to set the trend for most of her character for most of the show. And Yuga most likely will not lose as often. And like Rook, I think Rook is a character who more than likely will be able to bounce back from a loss and win much more throughout the series than Romin will be able to.
Mm-hmm.
So if
No.
Rook lost here, he'd be able to redeem himself. It's far less likely that Romin will be able to bounce back from a loss here.
Now, Nick T, while I agree with that statement, I think that she can still play the card of like, I'm not really that interested in dueling,
Right.
you know, so
Sure.
I'm just
Oh, yeah.
trying it out. So
Right,
from
absolutely.
her perspective, she could be like, oh, you know, I'm a beginner, so even though I lost, it doesn't matter.
Oh,
And then
no,
she can
definitely.
learn from watching them, and then she comes in again, and it's like they have a duel where she wins, and she's so much better. And she's like, yeah, I guess watching you guys really helped me out. So she can still develop that way, but I understand what you're saying.
No, definitely. From a plot standpoint, that would absolutely make sense. From a
Mhm.
writing standpoint, that's most likely not going to happen.
Oh, so you're
Like-
saying she's going to lose and she's going to keep losing.
Historically.
Historically, yes, but I don't think that this... I'm not as gung-ho as you are, Nick T, to say that if Romin loses this duel, she is gonna be in a lot of trouble going forward.
maybe I'm
Historically,
exaggerating
you're not wrong,
Right.
Because every Yu-Gi-Oh lead girl ends up
Sure,
doing that.
exactly. Getting screwed.
Absolutely, but I
My-
still think that there is enough to her character outside of her dueling that if they expand on, and if you give her a win here
She
and
can end up
there,
winning.
she can still end up being a very memorable and good character. And I would argue that because it's a different studio, because it's a different set of writers, there's
It makes
also
her woman better.
that flicker of hope
That it could be different.
that it could be different.
Yeah.
I hope that's the case. And it's not that I think she necessarily might be in trouble, but I think the major point is that, yes, historically, like, women would end up losing, like, most of the rest of the show. But as characters, I think Rook is already set strong enough. He's already, like, shown to be strong enough to have been able to bounce back from a loss to Yuga in the second episode. Whereas we're not sure if that's the case with Romin yet.
Right. I do want to say, because there is some confusion in the comments, a lot of people think that Rook is going to be the one dueling Romin. In the extended preview, Yuga is clearly dueling in the preview. So unless there's going to be 2 duels or a 2-on-1 duel or something along those lines, we know for a fact that Yuga is dueling in Friday night's episode. We know for a fact that Romin is dueling in Friday night's episode. So...
We
Again,
could get 2 duels,
if
but...
yeah, we could get 2 duels. If the duel turns out not to be Yuga versus Romin, then everyone who voted on it'll just be a push. It won't count in the actual
of course.
game.
Yeah.
But I think that the duel, it could be a situation where it's Rook versus Romin. Romin beats Rook, and then it's Rook versus Yuga. That could be the way that it goes.
I would
on.
like that. If that was the case, I would like that.
Yeah, but I'm gonna.
It would sincerely screw up the... actually, I guess it would set, like, a pretty consistent power ranking. But,
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can quickly get the extended preview and show you guys, because a lot of people probably haven't seen it already. And I will say the one cool thing about it, hold on, is it's being animated by a former Studio Gallup animator, actually the guy who worked on Code Geass and who worked on Vrains. So there are some shots that look very, very similar to old style Yu-Gi-Oh. This is the most Yu-Gi-Oh-esque that Sevens is going to look so far. And it's really cool that there are still people from that studio working on the show. Let me see if I can just quickly get that up. But while I work to get that up, Pete, what are your thoughts on the potential of Yuga dueling Romin? And would you have do you agree with what Nick T is saying when it comes to Romin potentially losing this duel?
Yes, I pretty much side with Nick T on that I think it is a detriment to that character if in the third episode and the first time she duels, she loses. Even if she puts up a good effort, I just think it's not a solid precedent that you're setting for the rest of the show and giving us as Yu-Gi-Oh fans belief that, hey, this is going to be different. Because we can't believe that, to Cal's point, that if she loses, she could bounce back and do great things. Yeah, that's completely possible, and a lot of shows write characters that way. But when do Yu-Gi-Oh females ever go that way? Ever?
Right.
I mean, what can you say is going back to the last show that we all watched of Aoi in Brains? What kind of progression did she have throughout the show? She changed her name 3 times? I mean, that was her major progression throughout the show. What did she really do? And so if you start a character off like Romin, and what if she loses because she gets completely wiped because she doesn't know how to play the game or something? Isn't that a really bad look for that character going forward? So that definitely concerns me, where I feel like a character of Rook, giving whatever his powers are and how he's the strongest duelist at the elementary school, he can easily bounce back from a loss. I think he would almost revel in it, in a sense that he'd be like, okay, well, I need to get better. What are these things I need to do and learn to become a better duelist to get to the top tier? Romin might be completely discouraged and go, hey, this is why I don't duel. I'm not about this and I'm done. I'm going back to the band and that's it. Mm-hmm. And so I think this could be an early pivotal moment here in the beginning of the show.
And now, if Romin does that, she wouldn't be the only one in this group to have gone back to the band when faced with tough times. Caliber, your turn, bro.
So Pete, I was gonna say, it's, I guess, like, because I guess we're kind of throwing the comparison of like how Aoi was treated versus how we think Romin could be treated, and I just think Aoi from the beginning was kind of set up as not a, like, she was an entertainment duelist, so obviously she was a good duelist and people like to see her duel, but her out of the reins, like, her real persona was very timid, shy,
she was a sympathetic character,
scared, sympathetic. She was almost dependent on her brother for everyday needs, almost that's how I pictured her as at the start.
Right.
And then obviously she kind of matures as the show goes on, grows older. She kind of gets attached to Emma, but in the same way, she's always kind of with somebody else. And I feel like Roman's kind of like a loner. So I feel like she's almost more comparable to Ghost Girl than to Aoi.
Like she's self-serving.
Yeah, so I feel like in that aspect, a loss won't kill her the way she is. I that's the way I've looked at her.
I mean, outside of dueling or whatever.
I get it's 2 episodes, but that's the way I've kind of, the view I've put in my head of her through this.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, because I was gonna say, along with what Pete was saying, even though things look like they could be different, we only have precedent to go off of so far. But if you look at her as a different type of character like Ghost Girl, then we have a different conversation.
Yeah.
So that's a fair point.
That's kind of the view I have of her.
No, it's definitely a good point. It could be a situation where, what if she loses and the show takes it she goes, hey, I like this dueling thing and I want to learn more about it to compete with these guys. And that could be the route she takes.
That'd be a great arc.
It's hard for me to believe they'll take a character arc like that until you prove it to me, because I know it's come beforehand.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, a really cool plot style thing I feel like for her would just be a simple, she gets so invested in dueling, she leaves her band, and it's a big dramatic thing with a bunch of different people, and that's a trauma for her, in her life that she has to go through, because she leaves the band
and
to
then
pursue
breaking
dueling.
the band up.
They have a Goha official take her place in the band, and it only irritates her further.
Dude, that would be hysterical.
They changed the sound, so it was this really popular, great song, and then it just becomes generic, very bland, and she hates it every time she gets to listen to it.
Pete, I feel like you took my 10% crack theory and made it a 100%.
I just made it a whole
crack theory.
I work at Konami.
I just thought of it. Boycott Apple.
Oh, on that note, let's we're gonna go a little out of order here. We are actually going to make our prediction on this coming duel. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the Discord, open it up on your phone, in that little group that we have. We're gonna type out our answer. Don't send it yet, and we're gonna send it on 3.
Okay.
That way, none of us can change answers. So I'll tell you when to send it again. We're gonna send it on 3. Yeah. This is for Yuga versus Romin. If this duel does not happen, if Yuga ends up dueling nobody, then yeah, no one. It just is a push.
Right, it's a wash.
Right. Does everyone have their answer written out?
Yes.
Ready.
No.
No, Kate is not ready.
It says the Barnes is told David.
I'm ready.
And Calibro's still typing, apparently.
Yeah, Calibro's
It actually does say that, yeah.
Oh, that's
and we do this just to make sure no one can change answers based on what other people are saying.
Right.
Right.
I'm gonna go with what I said to you last night.
Okay.
All right.
3,
You
2, 1, send. Okay.
Wow,
What?
Kate, very nice.
So.
All right.
Yep.
All right, respect.
Yep.
I don't like Nick T's a little bit of duh.
Now I feel like
we
a dick. Now, I thought it was going to be unanimous. I feel like a jerk now.
Well, okay, so we're gonna go around the table, and Pete, do you want to start with your prediction?
Yeah, sure. I'm picking Yuga. Kind of similar to last week. Yes, shocking that Rook won. Glad he won. I think that shows that there is a little unpredictability with this. Especially the one point I wanted to make is when it looks like he's going to win again with the whole 7 Roads magician thing, and he doesn't get the attribute that he needed to power up the magician. I was like, yes. Finally, we're having it where it's not like, oh, here comes the protagonist again.
The heart of the cards.
Pete,
exactly.
that was my prime point for that. That was exactly what I said.
That, so I
apologize.
No, you're fine. I'm 100% agree with you.
Part, but I have to pick Yuga here, and the only reason is I don't see a protagonist losing 2 episodes in a row, especially when a show is just starting. And I know almost next to nothing about Romin. I have no idea if she knows what she's doing, even though I know she probably is not letting on as much as she probably knows about dueling. But I have to see her in that first. So gonna go with the safe pick, and I'm gonna pick Yuga.
Fair. Cal, who are you picking, bro?
So I'm right along the same lines as Pete here. I'm going with Yuga, and again, most of his points too. Like, I just don't see him losing back-to-back episodes, and again, because I feel like you can't develop a protagonist with 2 losses back-to-back in the first 3 episodes of the show, especially after he beats this hologram man who could not be
beaten,
defeated. I mean, he technically Rook beat him, but not within the allotted time or whatever it was. But I just think there's no way he goes down 2 in a row, because it's like, then where do you put him as a protagonist? It's like, okay, I'm bringing around my group of friends, but they all beat me. Then why is he the protagonist?
He's the creator of the game that is now being played worldwide. And so when you look at the creator and be like, oh, this guy's going to be legendary, and then you go, actually, he's like a 1 in 47. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you watch his live stream, he's 0-1.
Yeah, true. As far as they know, he's never won.
Yeah, but I think Yuga has it in the bag, and I think it's going to be a good duel. But like I said earlier with Romin, my hope is that it's kind of like gets her interested in dueling. It pulls her into the point where she's like, oh, this is so much better because it's a quick and easy way to duel for me. And then that's what gets her to develop more as a duelist rather than just the guitarist in her band.
Yeah, that's fair. So 2 Yugas. Kate, your prediction.
I am predicting Romin, actually.
Wow.
I respect it.
I feel like that because we saw that Yuga can lose, that I just want to go on the girl side of it, that she's gonna win. And that's how I feel.
There's a little chink in the armor.
That's fair. Hey, you know what? It's a very bold prediction, but I got to be honest. I can't say anything critical about the pick because I want Romin to win from the bottom of my heart.
And
I really
want
do.
Her to win.
So I understand picking with your heart in this scenario.
Yeah.
I'm 0-2. I have no room to talk. Nick T, I'm gonna give my prediction on this last. What's
Sure.
your pick for Yuga versus Roman?
I'm picking Yuga. Excuse me.
Nick T picked
Because I was gonna say,
Whoa.
as much as I want Roman to win, because I do, I think she's a great. Like, I think she could shape up to be a great character, and I would like to see her be a great duelist. But yeah, Yuga's not gonna lose twice in a row. It's next to impossible. That's all there is to it, really. But I mean, hey, if they pulled a 180 on us, I think that'd be crazy.
Yeah,
I'd
be
proud
pumped.
They could do that.
Yeah, I would actually be really like, it'd be weird, but it would be so cool to see him lose twice in a row.
I see. Yeah, listen. The last time I picked a girl character to win, Blue Maiden dueled Bowman. I picked Blue Maiden to win that duel. Remember?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a duel that I was
It was great.
rooting my heart out because I knew if Aoi Zeisen won that duel,
That was it.
She was
Oh.
one of the best Yu-Gi-Oh girl characters, maybe the best girl we've ever seen. She didn't win. She didn't win the rest of the show. I should have known
Right,
that.
exactly.
Listen, Roman.
She barely dueled.
She barely ended up dueling. From the bottom of my heart, I would love for Roman to win this. I would love for her to set the precedent, change the theme of Yu-Gi-Oh girls, of Yu-Gi-Oh main girl leads. I want it to happen so badly. And had Yuga beat Rook, I think I would actually pick with my heart on this and pick Roman. My heart is telling me Roman's going to win and Yuga is going to lose back-to-back duels because Yuga doesn't care about winning or losing. He's like Yuma Tsukumo. He doesn't care about winning or losing. But at the same time, I just feel like it's not going to happen. They're not going to have Yuga lose twice in a row. And Roman, who obviously she's letting on more than what she's telling us, how she's not interested in dueling, she doesn't know how to duel.
That's part of my decision too.
And that's
I feel
fair.
Like she knows more than she's letting on, and she's gonna come out and be like, "Oh well, I'm this great duelist. I know everything."
Yeah, no, and that's a fair point. And Pete also makes a great counterpoint to that, though, where at the same time we have no idea if she actually doesn't know how to duel. We don't know anything about it, and so either you're on your side, the side Kate's taking, where she's actually a really good duelist, or you're on the side Pete's taking, where this is going to be her first time dueling. She's never dueled before. So it's hard to say. It's hard to get any sort of read on her character. But the safe pick, and the pick I'm going with, is Yuga. Back-to-back weeks. I just don't think... A Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonist has never lost back-to-back duels from episode to episode. It has never happened in the history of the franchise. As much as it would be amazing to see it happen, it's just not going to happen.
Can you do me a favor and just move Yuga on Nick T's over to the other side so that
I also think it's a thing where I'm not saying that she doesn't know how to duel because I think she's not letting on as much as she knows, but she knows the old style of dueling. Again, it's like you have to adapt right now to rush duels. It's different from watching on the sidelines and then being involved in the actual duel. That's a huge difference. And so can you do that against the creator of the game that, he lost to Rook, but he did get him down to 100 life points. So it's not like he had a horrible showing. So
It came down to luck at the end.
Yuga's pretty powerful. So can you go up against that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm picking Yuga. Make sure you get your picks in. You can win a new console down below in the description. Send in your picks to the email. You can see the standings. Only 8 people are perfect. Jarrett, I know he's in the chat. Blue Maiden 28, I know both of them are perfect. So I'm interested to see what their picks are. You can make your picks up to an hour and a half before the show is about to begin, or before the episode's about to begin, and then all the picks, which are blacked out until that time, they become locked, and you can see everyone's picks. So make sure you get yours in. But those are our predictions on Yuga versus Roman. We'll see what happens. And I hope you're right, Kate. I really do.
And we'll just see what happens.
I just don't have. I do not have.
There's a big difference in winging it and seeing what happens.
I don't have the
So
kahunas.
let's see what happens
against Yuga again. But listen,
Exactly. That's it.
yeah, I don't
Dylan's gonna be so mad if Roman wins because now you've been wrong twice in a row, and you actually you pick the protagonist, and it's gonna come back.
No, but to be honest, I'd be pissed because of the game, but I would actually be really hyped internally if I went 0-3 because that would mean that Sevens, if Roman beats Yuga, YuGiOh Sevens is the most unpredictable show, at least this early on, out of any Yu-Gi-Oh series.
Yeah.
I mean, Vrains was there were a few duels here and there with Vrains where you're like, oh, maybe. But for the most part, Vrains was so straightforward. I mean, it really, especially in hindsight, it was, what duels were there besides Soulburner Revolver? I can't think of any duel where I was actually like, wow, I did not see that one coming. Like, besides Soulburner Revolver. So, listen,
Not lightning revolver.
Maybe
We're
lightning.
changing this way into
Maybe lightning
one
revolver.
life point.
Maybe lightning revolver.
That was big.
I don't know.
He
But
didn't even
listen,
win.
we'll see. He didn't win.
He did win. Hashtag lightning one.
No, he didn't. If you want to be wrong, you can be wrong. But listen, we are going to get
Wait, lightning
into.
what?
We're going to get into Mr. Goha as well. Next.
Yes.
So I'm seeing all
Are
the
we
picks
taking a
coming
commercial
in.
break? Are we
Stop
sponsored?
After this.
This
Stop
commercial.
looking at the
This advertisement break is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car insurance. Consider switching to Geico today. Call a local Geico agent in your area for a free quote. Thank you to Geico for sponsoring this stream. Hopefully, in the
Where the
future.
where's the gecko, man?
Where's the
hell?
ad? Yeah.
Where's the?
Where's the?
Should I do an Australian accent?
no.
Yes.
No.
No.
It's Melbourne. How
No.
is that?
There it
Melbourne.
goes.
You.
I hope Sam isn't here.
you
Melbourne.
Listen, I love Australia. I really do. I
wait.
just can't speak
You love what? You love what place?
Australia.
I thought it was Aussie land.
Aussie land. Aussie land.
Ah, got him.
We'll take a
Yeah.
few more donations if we
Okay.
have some.
Yeah, we do.
Thank you guys so much. Seriously, we will. Australia is a friend.
You're
The
starting
entire
to comment already.
continent of Australia is a friend.
Sorry.
Not this again, dude.
Oh my god.
It's Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Thank you.
Just like the wrestler Evan Bin, not Evan Bourne. Who knew?
Anyway,
I'm gonna kick the hell out of him.
you donated $5.
Oh, thank you, Yude. I appreciate it, dude.
Said, as a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, the anime kept the game alive for me. Now it's the opposite. I'm glad I have my prediction correct. Yuga rode 7, which is actually cool.
That's fair. Yeah,
I respect
that's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah,
But it's good that he's keeping at least an interest in the game enough to
Yeah.
want to watch the
Yeah,
anime. So
yeah.
like that's
or you know, I mean, I know plenty of people that have like I know a lot of people that stopped watching when Zexal was a thing and came back for Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains and was like, yeah, I've been playing the card game for the last 6 years. I just haven't watched an anime, and anime hasn't intrigued me. And it could be that you don't find a Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime intriguing until 2036. You know, you never know, which would be like Yu-Gi-Oh! 12 at that point. Hopefully it's still
Jesus.
going on. But
We
like,
get that far,
you never know.
holy
Well,
crap.
a lot of people that say like, you know, I'm not gonna watch Sevens. I dropped it. I say hopefully I'll see you in 2023. I mean that's just the reality of it, and that's completely okay. I think it's important with how much media there is in the world to consume the media that you want to consume. But I am happy that that you are finding interest in the card game, and yeah, your prediction's correct, man. I hope you win the console, dude. Keep predicting. Thank you for the donation. I really do appreciate it.
Well, he donated again.
Oh,
$5.
thank you, man.
Said, everyone watch Tower of God for best simp ever, Bam, and best girl ever, Yuri. Anyways, hoping Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens becomes better. Also, Goha is a discount Darth Vader.
Well, I will say that. Thank you, you.
Far.
Yeah,
dude,
there's
Tower
definitely.
of God is really good.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
It's a lot. It's got like the same type of. It's a lot like Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
In a good way, in a very good way.
Yeah, I had heard about that series like a long time ago.
Yeah, it's Korean manhwa that's finally being animated.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Keep posting that propaganda here, which is fine. I mean, it's a good show. And yeah, hopefully Sevens does get better. Listen, I want every single show to get better. I think a
Yeah.
show can always get better. So
Absolutely.
I'm
We're
on
only
board.
2 episodes in, so
Yeah,
there's
I'm
not much to go
definitely
off
on board with you there, man.
Absolutely.
And Goha, discount Darth Vader, that's probably not wrong.
Yeah, except Vader would never laugh ever.
True. Yeah.
MVP Tomahawk
It's Goha.
donated £2.
Thank you, man.
Well, this was
MVP.
before Pete was here. Said Pete's not here because Goha deleted his account.
MVP, you're probably not
I
wrong.
got 6 strikes,
do
man.
6 strikes, bro.
Pete had to duel the hologram, man. That's why he was gone for 23
Yeah.
minutes. He was stuck in the first episode. And,
Yo, none of those words just came.
Oh, you
that
didn't
was
hear?
the long,
I'm just
the
gonna fill in
longest,
what I think you said.
the longest stretch of silence that's ever been on
Oh
your
my
channel
gosh.
so far. It was.
Did you even hear what the dono
it was-
was?
Yeah, we and no,
Okay.
it
We
went
heard
from
that part.
it went from
As soon as
Pete
Dylan
dueled
started
As
talking.
soon as he said Pete dueled hologram man, and then it was just blank.
Goha cut the audio. Goha cut the audio.
Yeah, they don't want you to know what happened.
MVP, thank you for the donation, man.
Aaron Jones became a channel member.
Oh, dude, Aaron, thank you so much, man.
that's
Enjoy
it.
the schedule, which I post every week, and enjoy the emotes in the chat. Thank you, man.
Yep, it's beautiful. Goose donated $5. Said, so far it seems like Sevens can lead to more story and dialogue, which is good. The duels may be short, but it brings attention to the other parts of the anime.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I agree.
And for someone
I
like
very
me,
much
listen, the story and the dialogue and the characters and the back and the building, the world building, that's very important to me with Yu-Gi-Oh. So listen, if they're gonna be able to focus more on that because the duels are going to be quick and there's more back and forth and constant action, I'm all for it. So I think that's a great point, Goose, and thank you for the donation, man.
Seriously, Orion donated £2 and
Thank you,
said,
seriously.
Rook is a Soltech shareholder confirmed.
Yeah, maybe. And because he was a shareholder, no, he's a Soltech patron and he got the watch as one of his tier rewards.
Yeah.
That's a good theory.
Yeah.
Well, they're very like modern because like even in the episode like they were uploading to YouTube. Like you saw the YouTube videos going on.
The likes.
The likes.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a cool reference.
Absolutely.
These elementary kids are very connected.
They are.
Just like in
Hey,
21st
elementary kids today are, right?
That's what I
How
mean.
many
Yeah, that's
kids
exactly
are
it.
alive and have an iPhone.
That's exactly
Yeah.
It's the
Too
same
many.
exact thing. Yeah.
Too many. That's dark, yeah.
Yes. Next dono, Aura Dragon 1 donated $5.
Thank you, Aura Dragon.
Said, I have to go to bed, but friendly reminder, Shingo almost beat Zark. Also, Rook is best boy, so I don't understand. Read that.
Rook is best boy so far next to Tenya Ida. Yeah, Tenya Ida from My Hero Academia. I see more of a comparison to Gakuto than Rook, but I get what you're saying, man. Yeah, Tenya Ida is great. And that donation, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Shingo beating Zark. I think everyone needs to be reminded that Shingo almost beat Zark. That's actually hilarious, dude. I hope you have a good night, man. Thanks for coming by.
Okay, next dono, MVP Tomahawk donated another £5.
Thank you, dude. Seriously.
Rook's power clearly comes from his watch, and it being a demon is likely based on the concept of
Tsukumogami.
Thank you.
Ordinary objects which gain
spirits.
Yeah, so that definitely could be the case, MVP.
I like the sound of that.
Thank you for the donation. Yeah, I got to look more into that. I'm going to write that down. But yeah, they're doing references all the time to different like aspects and things. So a lot of anime, I feel like, do it.
Do you think it's like a spirit in the watch, or do you think he has like a mini EMP in the watch? Like what?
Well,
what do you
I don't
feel?
know if he even is aware of it. Like, I wonder if he knows that his watch is like, if it's the watch has the capability of it, or if like someone planted it in the watch and then gave it to him. Like
Right.
I don't know.
True. True.
I think it would be cooler if he has the power to do that instead of technology giving it to him.
I completely
I
agree.
I got the power.
Oh yes, I do. Yeah, so hopefully that's the case.
Yes. Hopefully.
We could do a cool backstory with that too. Like it cuts to Goha and they like erase part of his memory because they tortured him and gave him that as an experiment.
Oh my
They
God.
could.
I'm just writing. I'm
Oh
writing the
my.
show tonight. That's what I'm doing.
Listen, Lost
Right.
Incident.
Yep.
That's basically
Pete,
what that was.
Crack
so.
theory.
I don't think this. Well, then again, Zexel I wouldn't have thought either, and they did some pretty messed up things. So you just don't know. You don't know where. You know, the show. If it's gonna get dark and serious, it's gonna get dark and serious during episode 50 and 60 and 7. So
Yeah, it's not going to be in the first 10.
we're still ways away from that.
Yeah.
Facts.
Latrell donated $5.
Thank you, homie.
Latrell, what's up?
Latrell, man.
Said Mr. Goha might be Kawi. What, I don't know.
Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, thanks. Kawhi Leonard.
Wow.
They share the same laugh.
Because of the laugh.
Oh, that's actually great.
Yeah.
You know, Mr. Goha's a fun guy. He's
Yeah.
a fun guy.
I'm a fun guy.
Classic.
It's a great
Latrell.
comparison.
That's
It's so
actually
good.
incredible, dude. Thank you for the donation, man. It's incredible.
That's how I'm gonna picture Mr. Goha if he ever gets interviewed. Is he super awkward like that?
Yeah, I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right
Okay,
back.
you're good, man.
That's cool, bro.
Brian Ford donated $5. Said, I was very critical of Rush Duel's last episode, but I gotta say the duel was fun this episode. Still don't like Rush Duels, but it's growing on me.
That's good, Brian.
Yeah,
and I honestly think when the extra deck gets involved, which I think we're ways away from, I think it's going to get more fun. When there's not as much tutorial-like stuff, a lot of the cards we know the releases, if you've been following the news on Rush Duel card releases, and I'm sure you probably have been to some degree, Brian. Maybe, I guess I don't know, but I'm just assuming. So when there's more mysteriousness and mystique to what cards are going to be coming out, and there's different sort of combos and strategies, I think it's going to get a lot funner, a lot more fun. So I'm excited for that. But Brian, thank you for the donation. I'm glad it's growing on you, man.
When we get more summoning, when we get those synchros going,
right?
those XE,
If they're a thing, we know Rush Duels will have an extra deck. We don't know anything about that extra deck. There is yet to be an extra deck card release. I imagine it's coming, but we did just get news today that there will be a delay in the OCG product releases because of Corona. There might be a delay in sevens. We're waiting to see if that'll happen. We'll see.
Yikes. All right, Legendary Duels is here.
Yo, Legendary.
$5.
Dude, the man who makes the beautiful review thumbnails. Legendary. Thanks for coming by, dude.
He said, nice PJs, Cal. Looking clean, bro.
Love it.
So,
Said, by the way, miss you guys. Hope everyone is doing well. Loved the episode like crazy.
Yeah, 2 episodes in, Legendary Duels is loving this show, which is funny because
yeah.
Vrains, he did not enjoy it all. So, again, it's a breath of fresh air for people that didn't like Vrains. If someone says to me, like, yeah, I was not into Vrains, the first thing I'm going to say to them from now on is, like, give Sevens a try, man. A lot of people that did not like Vrains seem to really be levitating towards Sevens. I'm glad you're enjoying it as much as you are, Legendary. Thank you for the amazing work you do on the channel. You're a huge part of it, and thank you for the donation, man. I hope you're doing well as well.
Yes, absolutely.
How many more do we have?
We have 5.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay, stop it right
We will get to the final 5 and any more that might come in. Thank you to everyone so far. Well, actually, yeah, we can start it. I want to talk about Mr. Goha. That's the last talking point that we're going to be doing in this podcast. Before we read the final donation and questions and stuff. Listen, I have no read on this guy. I have absolutely no read on him, and I said it in my review. We're now about 5 days removed from that episode airing, and I have absolutely no idea. I don't know if he's going to be a joke character. Pete, your webcam looks glitchy. I don't know if he's going to be a joke character.
Pete's gone.
Is Pete gone?
No.
Pete, are you gone, bro, or did you turn into Mr. Goha?
No, apparently Goha has hacked my stream then.
Pete, we're going to get a close-up of this, dude. That does not...
Oh, God.
Whoa.
That was weird.
Oh, Pete is
What
gone.
have you done?
I think Pete's gone.
Pete?
We have
listen.
a half Pete.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Pete. Oh, he's back. He's back. Hey, hey.
And reset.
So, Nick T is back. We are going to talk about Mr. Goha. Listen, I don't have any read on him. I don't know if he's going to be like a comedic, goofy, idiotic villain. Based on how the Goha structure and the city runs, I do think that he's going to have a wicked side to him. I hope he has a wicked side to him, but I think he might be a little more goofy and lighthearted. I don't know if at the end he's laughing because he thinks in his mind like, oh, these kids really think that this is going to work. This is foolish.
Oh, probably.
I'm going to squash these kids like bugs. Or if he's laughing because, wow, this is a great idea. I'm at it. Like a comedic way to think. Like, oh, I'm upset I didn't think about it. I'm jealous. Like, I have no idea what he's doing or what's going through his mind. Which one of you guys wants to start with this and your initial impressions with Goha and Mr. Goha, of course?
I mean, I'll start. My initial, I guess, thoughts of the laughter we got out of Mr. Goha, which is not much.
Mhm.
My hope, and this is probably shooting way too high in the sky, is it kind of seems like he's a little twisted in the head, you know, just with the way he like literally answered everything. He didn't say anything.
Sure.
And it gives me the hope of a Spectre vibe, just like an inch, like a little tiny bit. Because when he was crazy, Spectre was crazy, and he had that
Yeah.
maniacal laugh,
Yeah.
And
He had that
while
look.
while they're not the same, it gives me kind of a similar vibe of like, if that's just him being like, just wait what I have in store for them, then
Right.
it could be really interesting to see how evil it gets. But then I can also see your point of, if he's just like, that's funny, like
Right.
they
Like
think that they can
this
do
is
this,
fun.
like yeah, whatever. So like I guess my hope is it brings a more Spectre-like vibe as the main villain.
Agreed.
But I agree that there's like no read on it right now. I really do. That's kind of just me hoping for the best.
Yeah. What was
Yeah.
Kate? What were your thoughts?
Basically exactly what Cal said.
Okay.
If I'm gonna be honest.
Okay,
yeah.
that's fine. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I had the same opinion on it.
Yeah. Pete, Nick T.
Do you want to?
No, Nick T, you could go.
Okay. So, my initial impression was, yeah, like, I hope that this can be a twisted character, but I think this could go a few ways. Like, he could be very comedic. I mean, they could go like the total corporate route and be like, oh, he's just like laughing because he's figured out how to capitalize off
Right.
Yuga's invention. Like, he's like, I already know how I'm gonna make a ton of money on this.
Right.
There's
Like,
no
I would
patent on
actually
this.
love. Yeah, exactly. Like, he could figure out a way. You know, this is a corporation we're talking about.
Right.
So like, I think we can go a few routes. I'm based on the vibe, you know, like the silly face masks that our employees are wearing, and then like him just laughing on the phone. I think we're gonna get a mix. It's gonna be a mixed bag. I think he's not gonna be full serious. I think we're gonna get some goofy antics out of him, but I think he's gonna have a pretty twisted side. You know, that's like almost like a duality of Mr. Goha here.
Yeah. Which would be really cool. Pete, you're a villains guy. I mean, what's your genuine impression on this guy's debut?
You are a villains guy.
There's not much to draw off this. The way I kind of seen it was, I think, he could go comedic, but I don't think it's going to go that route. I think he is going to just be not a serious character, but one that's unsettling, right? And so what is creepier than if you know someone is maniacal, but they also can laugh in your face about it and just be like, I'm better than you, and I'm going to take advantage of the game you created, and I'm going to squash any uprising like a little bug. I think that is in a more interesting way. Like a lot of people, like I liked Bowman, right? A lot of people criticized Bowman for what he was, and Bowman was very a straight character, had really one tone, one kind of note thing, and
one
that
goal,
is something one goal that is something you can definitely criticize, and also that had to factor in because he was artificial intelligence, he wasn't an actual person. But with Mr. Goha, I see it as he's laughing there because he's just like, like someone was good enough to actually beat the system and change everyone's duel discs around the world into sevens. Like, that's pretty interesting. Like, he's laughing about that. I finally might have someone that can compete with me on some kind of level, and that makes him just laugh that possibility is now a thing. And so that's just how I saw it.
That's fair. Also, I can't even imagine Mr. Goha, that like creepy, villainous, weird guy, rush dueling. Like it's funny to picture, because like when I think of rush dueling, I think of like it's for, you know, young kids and it's like fun and energetic. And then you have this guy, the CEO of Goha, who's probably the exact opposite of that. He's probably older. He's probably more dry because, you know, he's a CEO. And we know how CEOs a lot of times are portrayed in media, especially anime. And this guy is going to be rush dueling with Yuga. Like that's just so funny for me to picture.
It is funny.
It is a little funny, but I also see it as if he could come in and beat our main characters, especially if that's, let's say, 40 episodes from now, and he wipes the floor with them, I see that as more impressive because, one, that means he can learn a game on the fly and master it better than the person who created it. So I think that's impressive. And then two, that means that he's been studying them and watching them, because we know how this city is, where everything is restricted. Everything, you have a camera or a drone watching you everywhere. If he's studying episode to episode the dueling styles of each character and then can pick them apart in like a very like sequential sort of way, I think that's actually more impressive. Yeah. And it wouldn't throw me off as much that, oh, he's rush dueling, this is very kiddish. I'd be like, no, he's the main antagonist. He's actually that good that he learned a completely entirely new game just to beat them.
That's fair. I don't think, just in case I might have intended what I was trying to say. It definitely wouldn't throw me off. I wouldn't think like, oh yeah, that's weird. That doesn't.
It's just funny to
work
think
well.
about.
It's exactly. It would be hilarious to envision that that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Last point on that I want to touch on, and then we'll read the final donations and wrap things up. What do you guys make of the little girl that's calling him? I mean, there's got to be more to that, right? That's not going to be a throwaway thing.
It's not going to be a throwaway. Absolutely not.
I mean, do you think that is maybe like a daughter or like a family member or a friend? Like, I mean, what the thing that I think Bowman, the thing that
I said Roman.
Oh, Roman. See, it sounded a little too young to be Roman, unless maybe like it sounded like a 3-year-old girl.
Yeah.
To me, it ends in like 3, but I kind of have like this feeling that it could be like set up like the idea that like, oh, there's a spy amongst Goha 7th Elementary.
Yep.
And like, oh, is it Roman? And it's like, no, it's this younger girl, like 2 grades below. We've seen her in the background of like every episode, and we have had no idea. And it's like, oh, boom, that's Goha's daughter.
Well, do you think that it's the same girl that is in the opening as one of the top 6 executives right before they show Mr. Goha? There's clearly a girl in that opening. Do you think that's
I think that's who it would be. Whoever that is, that's who it would be.
Yeah, and do you think there's a chance it's Roman?
There's a chance. I don't think it's likely.
Chance? I don't think it is.
Yeah. I don't think it is either.
I feel like they're trying to set it up in a way that makes you think Roman's immediately part of Goha. Because the way it's been so far, it's like she's been spying on them, at least what it seems, with the like pictures and everything. And then episode 3, I mean, even in this episode, he's like, oh my God, Roman, were you taking pictures of this? Like, thinking it was her, but it wasn't. She's like, what? No, like, my phone's not working or whatever.
Yeah.
And then now the next episode is Roman's secret. Like,
well, that's actually
they're really setting it up for her.
Absolutely.
She keeps being sketchy though. At the first part of the episode, she's taking another freaking picture.
Yeah, exactly. And then like when someone comments, she like quickly puts the phone away. Yeah, she's sketchy as hell. And I will say another thing. That's a scene that I loved from this episode because it shows that Rook is extremely suspicious of her. Yes, and even though that doesn't get really expanded on in this particular episode, we know as viewers why Rook feels that way. He saw her take the picture of them when they were conversing in the classroom. He was the one who called her out when she was spying on them when they were trying to get in touch with the hologram man. Like, it's going to come to a head next episode, which also makes me think that because it's coming to a head so early, she's really not going to be a spy, because if she was, they'd probably draw it out a little more.
Yeah, there's going to be a different connection.
Yeah.
Did you guys at the beginning talk about how you felt about Yuga in this episode?
We didn't really touch on Yuga
because like I felt like I was like, damn, like it was kind of messed up that the duel was supposed to be about whether we keep this a secret or not. And regardless if he won or lost, he completely disregarded that, reprogrammed that drone that we saw at the beginning of the episode, and it was broadcasting the entire time. Yeah. And so that makes me like, one, our protagonist is extremely strong-headed in that if he wants something, he's going to do it. Yeah. And then the second thing, it kind of makes him a little like, I don't trust him as much because where's the like being sacred to a deal that you're making? The duel is supposed to be for something, and in this case, it's not anything super significant. It's about keeping it secret or not. True. But he didn't even abide by that. He just completely disregarded what Rook said.
That's true. I didn't really. Yeah, I guess because he's the protagonist of a Yu-Gi-Oh anime, I'm gonna trust him. He kind of gets a free pass for me.
That's fair.
That is a great point, and maybe that's something that they will expand on going forward. So he is very strong-headed. I liked him a lot in this episode. I liked him a lot.
This only furthers the idea that he's strong-headed, because I feel like we sort of know that. I mean, he's failed to, or attempted to break into the systems like 5 times and failed, and that's like he's gonna keep trying. He's gonna try to beat the clock, and he does, but he's gonna keep doing whatever he can to fulfill his dream.
He even says that later in the episode when Rook's like, what happens if they delete the game and shut us down? He's like, oh, I'll just keep doing it again and again.
Exactly. So like we know he's strong, and I think that's why I like him as a character. He's like willing to do whatever it takes to like get people to get his game and have fun.
I also think
undermines his friends.
No. I was just gonna say I like him a lot more than I thought I would this early on.
Yes.
I like him a lot. But back to your point, Pete.
Fair enough. And I also think you could have nice character progression in that. And we always know he's probably going to be the hero, right? He's our protagonist. But his strong-headedness could end up biting him in the butt later if he gets another character in danger and he makes the wrong decision just thinking he's always right. And so that could be a very interesting storyline and arc that we can go on with the character as the show goes forward.
It would do really good for character development if they did do that. So,
well, and that in a way would also kind of speak to growth of us as human beings, right? Because when we're that age, we think we know everything. When we're in 5th grade, like I thought that like every decision I made was a good decision. Like it's not until you get a little older where you start like reflecting on decisions, even ones you've made when you were younger, and you're like, wow, that was kind of idiotic. Like you feel you're invincible when you're younger. Like that's what everyone always says. You feel that way, and we could see Yuga by making a decision that puts people in danger, as you just mentioned, which I think would be an amazing plot point that they could explore down the road. It all of a sudden becomes like a coming of age moment for him, where he's still a little younger, but he could have that moment where like, oh wow, like I have to really consider more than just my own wants and what I think is right. I need to consider the feelings of other people too. I think that could lead to some great character development for him down the road.
And he also is someone that we don't know a lot about his backstory. So he could be someone who is just very young and innocent, where maybe Rook or Romin have gone through more tragic things in their life. And so they don't have that kind of positive outlook on the world that he does.
Right.
And so that's also a possibility. But I don't think he was thinking when he wanted everyone to have fun, but he doesn't realize that he actually screwed Goha by live broadcasting it, because there's no way they can control the whole world's population. If they love rush duels, they're going to make money off of rush duels. And so he's going to get his way regardless now. So he didn't mean for that, but it actually kind of works in his favor.
I want to do a very quick, for fun, silly game before we read out the final donations and wrap things up.
I like the sound of that.
If you have to rank right now, Gakuto, Romin, Yuga, and Rook, how much you personally enjoy them, 1 to 4, least favorite to most favorite. Caliber, you start.
Oh, come on.
So who I enjoy the most? You said Yuga, Rook, Gakuto, and Romin.
The
those
core
4.
four. Yeah. Just real quick. It's just for fun. 2 episodes in. I mean, that's going to change.
So, 2 episodes in. There's not too much to go by. I would say it would go Rook, Yuga, Romin, Gakuto. And I would say Romin's only 3rd because there's just so little that she's done so far. I feel like I can't put her any higher, but I'm intrigued by her.
That's fair. Nick T?
Oh, this is tough. After last week's episode, I gotta say probably Rook, Romin, Yuga, Gakuto.
Okay.
And that's only because one, Rook has like had a significant amount of development, and he's like he's rounding out really well. Romin intrigues me a lot, and I want to see her be really cool. And then like Yuga and Gakuto sort of fall default into those 2 places. Like Yuga's awesome already; he appears to be like already a good friend, and then I love Gakuto, but he's just, that's where he falls so far, you know, because how are you going to compare it to those 3? It's just not going to happen.
Completely fair. Pete, I'm interested in yours. I think I know yours.
It's pretty much the same thing. I mean, it's going to be Rook, Yuga, Romin, and Gakuto.
Same as Cal. Okay, that's what I figured. And then for me, it's probably... Yeah, it's probably Rook, Romin, Yuga, Gakuto. I would agree with Nick T. What about you?
So it's 2 and 2.
Yeah. What's yours? Tiebreaker. Unless you have a completely different one.
No, I am Rook, Romin, Yuga, Gakuto as well.
Okay, so you're with me, Nick T. Rook, Romin, Yuga, Gakuto. Well, that's the order. I mean, you heard it here first. No, listen, it's so early. That's just a fun game. That's gonna change.
Just head out.
What I do like about this show that I want you guys to understand is every time I'm watching an episode, which has now only been once since the first stream, and there's like a really like corny joke, I envision Nick T laughing hysterically at the joke and Pete getting genuinely pissed off at it. And so like that makes the whole episode for me. Every time Gakuto does something really stupid, I envision Nick T cracking up and Pete going like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, and me just going.
That is phenomenal. I love
it. You nailed it.
I
That's
absolutely
100%
love
what
it.
happened.
Well, Nick T said we're not taking any Gakuto slander here, Pete. So you got to remember that.
We won't.
Yeah, you got to.
Actually, so far we're not taking any slander from anyone.
He has
on anything. No slander.
Nick T is a Sevens cultist.
Dude,
I
they're
love
kids.
it,
What happened to you?
They're kids, bro. You gotta root for them, bro.
Yeah.
All right, listen, we're gonna wrap up the donations here, and then we're gonna wrap the stream up. But thank you guys so much for donating, for hanging out. Hopefully you join us the last 10-15 minutes here as we just kind of ease our way into the night sky.
Yes. Well.
That sounds like
Either
we're
way.
dying. We're not dying. Never mind. Just read the donation.
Seriously, Orion donated £5.
Thank you, man.
Said a way to have Roman lose and still preserve her character. We see that she could have won, but threw the duel to keep her novice facade.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we've seen
That would be
that.
interesting.
We've seen that in Yu-Gi-Oh too. That would be a great way to do it, where Yuga wins, and then it's all of a sudden a situation where like Roman has an inner monologue to herself, like, well, if I did this, I would have been
Yeah,
able
she's
to
got
win.
game winning cards, and then just like
Yeah.
Opts not to play him to continue to play dumb. That would be really interesting.
Kind of like Bowman when he like could have beaten Playmaker, but wanted to
In
see
that
how
third
far
duel.
he could go.
Yeah, they drew. Yeah. So we've seen it with Yu-Gi-Oh before. That's always a good option for the duel writers. Seriously, thank you for another donation, man.
Yep.
thank you.
Brian Ford donated $5.
Thank you, B Ford.
Said unless they go a Yuma route with Yuga, where he sucks at the beginning and becomes unstoppable, I can't see him losing this duel. My money's on Yuga.
Right.
Yeah. I completely agree with you, Brian. Yeah.
Goose
Thank
donated
you, man.
$5.
A goose.
Goose.
Said if it was Rook versus Roman, I would pick her, but because it's Yuga versus Roman, I pick Yuga. I want Roman to win, but based on what we know, Yuga will win.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree with you, man. Listen, I think it's I think if it was Rook versus Roman, I think it'd be pretty 50-50. I would pick Roman at that point because I think there's more there for Roman to potentially win. Rook already got to win. Although that would be tough too, because then you say, well, Rook beat Yuga. Why is he going to lose to Roman?
That means Roman is the strongest according to the power
if you
rankings.
listen to that, yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting, Goose. That I would have preferred Rook versus Roman, honestly. But thank you for the donation, man. Goose.
Archaea donated $2.
Thank you, man.
Said how does Yuga losing as much as Yuma and Yuya sound?
Yeah, well, Yuya lost 4 times. I think that's a good barometer for how many times the protagonist should lose. 4 to 5, 3 to 5, I think is good. Yuma lost a lot off screen, but Yuma also lost a lot of genuine one-on-one duels. I would be fine with that. I mean, I think that's a good area to be in, the amount that Yuma and Yuya lost. I think that would be a good barometer. Yeah.
Yep.
And thank you for the donation, Archaeo.
Yes. OS Barb.
OS Barb, Oz Barb.
Donated. Said in the preview, you can also see that Roman is using Yuga's cards. As for why, it could be that she borrows his deck or that she just owns the same deck, or, an animation mistake.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the more baffling things from the preview. If you look on the duel disc on 2 separate shots, Yuga's sorcerer card is on it, and Roman seems to be using the same deck that Yuga uses, which is weird.
That doesn't sound right.
Could be an animation issue, as you pointed out. That's what I'm kind of leaning towards. So I'm not. That's why I didn't even bring it up, because I'm not investing too much into that. If that's the case, though, we'll definitely be talking about it next Wednesday night. But Oz, yeah, thank you for the donation, man. Yeah, it is interesting nonetheless. Error or not.
Yeah. MVP Tomahawk donated $5.
Oh, thank you, man.
Said Mr. Goha uses old tech, the rotary phone as an example. So that could be a clue that he will probably use old style dueling and such.
That's actually
Fair.
kind of a good parallel there. Right, well, that was hilarious when that fucking excuse my language, when that 1700 dial-up phone lifts up from the table. I mean, that was incredible.
That reminded me of Powerpuff Girls for whatever reason.
Did you say 1700s?
When was the phone?
I was just gonna let it go, but
It's like
What?
in the 19-
Not only how old do you think telephones are, how old do you think rotary phones are?
Yeah.
When was the phone invented? 1800.
Well, we know that during the making of our country, they used rotary phones to contact each other. So that was just a fact that is often overlooked.
Yeah.
In history
In
books.
1776,
The phone was
George
the
Washington
phone.
called.
The phone was invented by Alexander Graham Bell.
I think it's like the 1880s was like the first thing.
In 1885. Yes, you're right. So listen, I was off by. I meant to say 1800s. That's part of my speech impediment.
So,
But-
Dill,
Yeah, it's speech
Not as
impediment.
when Goha picks up the phone, the first thing that he hears from the girl speaking is,
7 days.
"Okay, boomer."
No. Wait.
Whatever
Someone
you
in the
say.
chat before said, like, oh my God, the dub. They're going to someone say, "Okay, boom."
I can see that. Nobody thought though that it was a little bit extra of Mr. Goha that like he could clearly have the phone right next to him on the desk. He has to have it rise out of the desk.
Yeah.
I
Of
love
course
that,
It's
dude.
extra. And that's
Yeah.
that's what
He's
they
so
like about
extra.
it.
Listen,
So extra.
I'm not. I don't know my phone history, but anyway, an 1892 phone. Listen, 1876 according to
1876.
Italian innovator
Italian innovator Antonio Matucci
Metucci.
is credited with inventing the first basic phone in 1849, but
Oh.
Alexander Graham Bell won the first U.S. patent for the device in
Yes.
1876.
Yeah. We steal a lot of things.
Yeah. As always. There's your history lesson for the day, boys
Thank
and
you.
girls. Thank you for
That's
coming
it.
to my Google Classroom.
I'm crying. That was-
Literally.
Yeah, no, I am crying. That was.
Dylan, let's start a segment on your channel of just Pete teaches Dylan history, and we started of a topic, and we go, "What do you think this is?" And then we give the actual history.
All right. We might have to do that at some point.
I like that.
Seriously, Orion, thank you for the £2. Who's turning up when Goha goes zehahahahaha? That was a One Piece reference, as you mentioned. I hope one of you read One Piece to get my last super chat. Didn't you
Okay.
watch One Piece a little bit, Nick T, or no?
When it was on, I think it was on Toonami, and I only watched like a little bit.
Okay. I wasn't
I
sure how
only
much
remember-
you watched. Yeah, so
No, very little,
I don't
very,
get the
very little.
reference, unfortunately, seriously, but
Yeah.
appreciate the reference.
Mhm.
Appreciate the donations.
Tyler Schmidt donated $5. Said, I feel like with all of the references to the number 6 and demons, I don't think Mr. Goha will be a comedic villain, but who knows?
I agree, Tyler. Thank you, by the way, for the
That's
donation.
true.
Great insight, great comment. I agree with you, man, because not only you have the sixes, obviously demonic imagery
Satanic,
and
yeah.
symbolism,
Yeah.
satanic, but you also have the city being as horrifically run as it is. Kids can't even make trades with one another.
Yeah.
This isn't some friendly, go happy guy at heart. This is
This
going to
isn't-
be a dictator.
This is 1984.
Yeah, like the book.
Yeah,
Big
but-
Brother's watching.
Yeah, Pete.
But I feel like I wouldn't say, and I don't know if you meant that, I wouldn't say horrifically run. I feel like the city will run efficiently. It's in the sense that no one will have any creative freedom outside of
Oh,
how
that's what I meant.
Goha
Not
dictates.
horrific run.
And that's
as
what
in,
I
like,
figured you meant.
poorly run.
It's like
yeah.
a fish.
Yeah. Right.
It's like
Thank-
efficiently run. It's just not happy.
Yeah. Thank
Which
you.
gets into the whole argument of whether people are allowed to explore their creativity, or is it better to turn over some freedoms to have a more efficient society so
Right.
you can.
Right. Thank you
do
for
that.
clearing that up, Pete. No, that's exactly what I meant. Yeah.
I figured that's what you meant.
Yeah, but thank you.
Goose donated $10.
Goose, thank you, dude. I think that's the biggest one of the stream. That is a nice amount. Thank you so much, dude.
He said, what's interesting to think is that since this episode was about Rook, he won against Yuga. Since the next episode is about Romin, it's possible she will win. In terms of Yuga, I think he's still young. Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think with that last sentence, it was in reference talking about him having room to grow as like a
Yeah.
person.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
It's great insight.
yeah, and I do agree with that too. That
Hey, I mean, he could lose. I mean, he seems to be happy losing. So
Yeah, he doesn't really care.
yeah, and I feel like that's what that really stuck my decision with choosing Romin was that it's not really like life or death. It's not a big deal for him if he loses or not.
It's almost like he wants to make sure they have fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, he does like that laugh cry thing when he loses, and I think it's so funny. Where he's like,
Yeah.
what can you do? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well. That's how I
He
feel about
really reminds me, like Dill, like a lot of Judai. Like,
Yeah.
he really does.
There were a lot of people in the chat that said they're picking up early GX vibes from the show, and
Yeah.
I can definitely see that, especially the Judai comparison early on. Yeah, absolutely.
Because he just loves dueling for dueling, and like he doesn't really care what happens.
Yeah, and that is how Judai is very early on. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dueling for fun. Hero for fun.
It is a kid's card game at the end of the day, right?
Absolutely.
That's what it's supposed to be about.
You're absolutely right.
And I guess to wrap things up, Nicholas Horton.
Final
donated
dono,
$5.
Nicholas. Thank you, dude.
Dono.
Said the new Code Geass Lelouch of the Resurrection movie dub is now on Kiss Anime. It's a good movie.
I love the dub.
Yeah.
The dub.
Might
Oh,
have
the
to
dub,
check that
yeah.
out. I have not watched the Code Geass movies, so I probably will check that out, Nicholas. But yeah, thank you so much for the donation and Kiss Anime. Yeah, you know, Kiss Anime, those sites are always a little nervy to me, but I mean, you have to use them for sevens. That's literally the only thing to use. So, you know, got to do what you got to do, I guess. But yeah. Anyway, thank you, Nicholas, and thank you to everyone who donated. Thank you for hanging out for us, even if you didn't donate, just for being here, talking in the chat, or just silently watching. We really do appreciate it. It does mean the world. Hovered around like 200 viewers, which is amazing. So thank you guys. Yeah, that's more than I ever anticipate. So really fun. I'm happy so many people are enjoying sevens, or at least giving it a fair chance. I'm enjoying it early on. We'll see where it goes. And we will be here every week for all things Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. Make sure you get your vote in the contest down below in the description. Kate, thank you for coming on. Nick, Pete, thank you guys. Any final parting words?
You called me Nick. That's weird.
Boys,
Yeah, I didn't
is
like
weird.
that.
boys, any parting words, boys?
Yes, actually, because there was one thing that someone said at the beginning of the stream that I forgot to totally address. Francis asked me how my presentation went today. It went great, and now that was my last big assignment for the semester, so it's smooth sailing from here and a lot more great Yu-Gi-Oh content.
Good, dude. Nick T, we got to work on that Mills video, man.
Dude, if we can,
legitimately,
we're talking about it here. I really want to find a way to work on it while we're on and get it out.
I know.
Yeah.
We'll
It'll be
think
tough,
about it.
but we could try and figure
We'll
it
think
out.
about it. Cal, any final words, dude?
No, the only thing was that you called me Nick instead of Cal before, and I just thought that was weird.
Pete, any final words, dude?
just as I say every week, you know, continue to be safe out there, stay healthy, and you know, keep track of your loved ones. Definitely check in on people, because right now this is a big thing for mental health awareness with everything going on and everyone staying inside. So make sure to check in on your friends and family, even if it's a text or a call. It's very important.
Yeah. Great words from
Absolutely.
Pete. Absolutely do that, man. Love you guys. Thank you all for helping out. Thank you all for coming by. The best protagonists in Yu-Gi-Oh! Ranked will be out tomorrow. That's going to be a polarizing video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Love all of you. I will talk to you down below, and I hope you have an amazing day.
Amazing day.
Thank you guys.
Thank
See you guys.